O.J. Simpson, or Orenthal James Simpson, also known as the Juice, was a famously known NFL player, playing 11 seasons for the Buffalo Bills.
As a kid, I always knew I would be a professional baseball or football player.
He started his career playing in college football, where even early on he already showed his potential.
Here's Simpson. Look at that touch. O.J. Simpson.
I'm delighted to present to you this 34th Heisman Trophy.
In 1968, with the USC Trojans, he earned the Heisman Trophy, an achievement given to the most outstanding player in college football. As one of the sport's most promising rookies, he was drafted by the Bills in 1969. In 1973, he was the first player of only 8 to join the 2,000-yard club, a prestigious group of running backs. This feat earned him that year's Most Valuable Player award from the NFL. With an average of 143.1 yards rushed per game, Simpson earned the record of rushing yards in that same season, a record that still holds today. Following his vaunted career in the NFL, Simpson was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 1985, where his bust remains on display to this day.
That's wonderful.
Whoa! Everyone should have a friend like you.
While he starred in bit parts on television during his college years, Simpson had begun acting in earnest during his football career, finding a spark for it when he debuted in the film The Klansman, where he played the role of a man seeking vengeance on the KKK. He'd continue this trend, appearing in various productions like Towering Inferno and the TV series Roots. However, he is most known for starring in the Naked Gun franchise as Detective Nordberg, Frank Drebin's often unfortunate partner. Nordberg was often the butt of slapstick comedy in these films. While other NFL players had also gone into acting, Simpson doubled down on this trend when he formed his own production company, Orenthal Productions. Orenthal Productions was best known for making direct-to-TV films with Simpson as the starring role. He was also a brand ambassador, featured in advertisements for many different products. Among these, he was best known for his partnership with Hertz. O.J. became known as the superstar in Rent-A-Car.
I am not an easy guy to live with. I'm moody at times, I'm told, but rarely.
Supporting him in the backlines and on the field was his #1 fan and high school sweetheart, Margaret Whitley. They married in 1967, 2 years prior to Simpson joining the NFL. Seeds of infidelity sprung a decade later when Simpson met the woman whose fate he'd forever be tied to, Nicole Brown Simpson. The two officially started dating in 1977, and 2 years later, Simpson divorced his first wife to fully focus on Nicole. She just loved O.J. She didn't care if he was a football player or a dirt digger. They were really great for each other, said Nicole's sister Denise in an interview with New York Times regarding the blossoming relationship between Simpson and Nicole. The two later married in 1985 and had 2 children together, Sydney and Justin, before divorcing 7 years later in 1992. For the duration of their marriage, Nicole Brown Simpson had documented over 60 instances of domestic abuse from the former athlete, calling 911 a total of 9 times during the duration of their marriage. Simpson was eventually arrested, though only given a slap on the wrist.
Emergency. Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please.
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson.
Wait a minute, we're sending the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you?
Going nuts.
Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman were found murdered outside Brown Simpson's Tony Brentwood, California home.
The juice was loose. These were the cries of onlookers watching the slow-speed chase of the former athlete-turned-fugitive as his infamous white Ford Bronco cruised through the LA freeways. Millions of eyes were on the chase and its aftermath, all wondering what would happen to Simpson. This would mark the start of Simpson's infamy.
The intersection of the 5 and the 91 freeway. One thing we have been noticing, again, it's a very slow pursuit, followed by numerous...
This chase is so mid. It's like a police escort. This sucks.
Enter the so-called Dream Team, Simpson's all-star defense.
That'll be interesting, I think.
Including Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, and of course his most trusted ally, Robert Kardashian.
Despite the mountains of evidence on OJ, not even mentioning his spouse's records, his dream team defense was able to spin the prosecution's arguments into that of race, suggesting OJ was arrested because of the color of his skin.
One of the cornerstones of their prosecution was Detective Furman, and he's caught on tape saying the N-word 41 times and even says that they're instructed to brutalize black people and plant evidence.
Mark Furman is a lying, perjuring, genocidal racist.
But perhaps the defense's biggest win is the prosecution's biggest blunder. They ask him to try on the bloody glove found at the scene of the crime. Nearly everyone knows what happens next. That bloody glove becomes a rhyming rallying cry for the defense.
O.J. Simpson in a knit cap, it's no disguise, it's no disguise, it makes no sense, it doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
If Chewbacca lives on Endor, you must acquit.
If the sock don't fit, we must acquit.
Cochran's closing arguments all but sealed the deal on OJ's final verdict. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Combining the fact that the gloves found in the crime scene, which was key evidence from the prosecution, did not fit OJ's hands, they took advantage of racial tension to secure the not guilty verdict OJ needed.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A of the...
I remember I was with my girlfriend at the time. She kept saying, "Oh,
really?"
No. We were watching the verdict. I thought he was going to jail. Everybody thought he was going to jail.
Perhaps shocking all of America, OJ was declared innocent. But a juror has since gone on record to say that the ruling was payback for Rodney King.
Do you think that there are members of the jury that voted to acquit OJ because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you think felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
Despite the not guilty verdict being passed in the so-called trial of the century, a subsequent civil trial was held a year later. Disallowing this trial from being televised, the judge deemed OJ guilty for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Ordered to pay $33.5 million to their families, Simpson had to file for bankruptcy and move to Florida. This would not be the end of Simpson's legal troubles, as in 2007 he was arrested for armed robbery and kidnapping in Las Vegas. A year later, Simpson is convicted on multiple charges and sentenced to serve a lengthy prison term.
Breaking news, O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson has died.
Has died.
And a Pro Football Hall of Famer who would later be tried and ultimately acquitted of double murder in one of the most publicized trials in American history has died at 76 years old after a battle with cancer.
We now have the news that officially your boy, OJ, pack watch, he completely fell off.
If you haven't heard, OJ has passed.
On April 10, 2024, OJ died of cancer at 76 years old. After a tumultuous life, the juice is finally loose. Let us know in the comments if you think OJ is guilty.